Hey Codersaurs, it's Dr. J, and today we've made it. We're finally going to be writing our first computer program. We've graduated to JavaScript commands. So I guess before we dive in, I should give you a quick brief history about JavaScript. I remember I had just started first year university when JavaScript was released. The internet in 1995 was a pretty boring place, but JavaScript promised to bring and breathe some life into some otherwise pretty rudimentary and boring web pages. But for about the first 15 years, JavaScript was a bit of a dirty word, a bit of a joke. It had been quickly cobbled together to solve a very simple problem, make the internet a slightly more interesting place. But I guess that simplicity was the key to its success today. I don't think anyone on earth ever expected JavaScript to grow to where it has today. With it, you can do anything. You can write games, like super high-end graphics games. You can write beautiful web pages. Man, you can even run machine learning models on the edge in the cloud. By now, with enough iterations, enough new releases, it's become one of the most beautiful languages out there, and its popularity is just growing year after year. It's certainly come a long way since 1995. Thank you, Brendan. Anyway, I got a little distracted. As I mentioned in our first episode ever, we're not here to learn a particular programming language, JavaScript, but rather to learn the underlying concepts in computer science. So let's get cracking. As always, you have to fire up the Codersaurs GUI. It always starts with the basic commands here. You need to now click on the top right button, the little dinosaur, that says Show JavaScript Commands. If you've done that right, your screen should look like this. Now, the JavaScript Commands panel is actually quite simple. There are two buttons up here, and an area over here to type in your computer programs. So we've got two buttons there, and something we call the text editor. The first time you open this JavaScript commands page, there should be a lot of random text in that text editor. That's simply just a sample JavaScript program I put in there so you could get a glimpse of what we're going to be learning into the future of these series. But you can safely ignore it for now if you just want to keep following these YouTube episodes. So we've looked at this text editor. The next most important thing is this Execute JavaScript button. When you press that button, whatever program is in this text editor will be run, and it will tell our dinosaur what to do. So if you have the sample program in there and you press this Execute JavaScript button, it's going to tell this dinosaur to do some pretty fancy graphics. Let's do that now. So I'm going to press that Execute JavaScript button now, and there you can see our turtles running around drawing some beautiful pictures. These are the pictures that this sample program told our dinosaur to do. And if you stick with these episodes, you're going to be an expert at making these kind of beautiful mathematical objects. The second button over here with the skull and crossbones on it is to kill a runaway JavaScript program. Now, you're probably never going to need to use this button. But as we get more and more advanced with the computer programs we can create, you might run a computer program that runs forever, or maybe a computer program that draws this tree millions and millions of times and is taking the poor dinosaur hours to draw it. At any point, if you want to stop the dinosaur, you just hit that skull and crossbones button there. Of course, always remember, if anything goes wrong and the browser is not responding for any reason, you can always just close and restart your browser, or even just hit the refresh button. There's kill buttons for your convenience, but you could just refresh the browser and it'll go back to Codersaurs as when you started for the first time. Always remember, the best way to learn to program and the best way to learn computer science is to keep exploring. You're not going to be able to break anything, so just explore. Okay, now that we've seen what the sample program does, let's actually start writing our first program. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get rid of the program that's in that text editor. The easiest way to do that is to click in the text editor and press Ctrl-A on your keyboard. That selects all. You'll see the text has gone blue because it's been selected. And then you can hit the delete or backspace button, and you should end up with nothing in your text editor. That's basically telling you there's line 1 is available for typing your own program. So let's write our first program. So our computer programs are going to be telling this dinosaur to do something. Now the screen's pretty messy at the moment, so the first thing we're going to want to do is clear the screen. Remember our command for clearing the screen, CS? So there I've typed in my first program ever, and that command is clear screen, and if I execute JavaScript, it'll clear the screen. There's something else I also always recommend you put at the beginning of your programs, and it's not only to clear the screen, but also to make the dinosaur go back to his home position, and remember that'll also move the camera to its nice starting position in case you've moved the mouse or dragged the screen and you've got a different perspective on your drawing. So I'd recommend you start every program of yours with first clearing the screen and then telling our dinosaur to go home. Now for now, just trust me when I say we know these are commands because they have these two parentheses or brackets after their name. So there's CS with empty parentheses there and home with empty parentheses there. Why do you think they're empty this time? CS and home, we're not really asking them to do anything. But remember we have another command, move forward, and remember we wanted to be able to tell it how far to move forward, how many centimeters to move forward. So if I run this program, our dinosaur is now going to move forward 50 centimeters. And every time I execute this JavaScript program, because it runs first the clear screen, then goes home, and then draws forward 50, he's always going to be drawing the same line on top of itself. So you can see a command is always followed by parentheses. Some commands don't get any information, like go home or clear the screen, but other commands require some information, like how far forward do we want to go, or how many angles do we want to turn right. So whenever we have some parameter to pass to our commands, or some information to pass to our commands, we put them in those parentheses. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that forward and turn right command a few more times, and I'm going to press the execute JavaScript button, and you can see I've drawn half this octagon here. Let's pretend that's a white igloo. One thing that you may want to do is, instead of having to move your mouse and press the execute JavaScript button every time, you can see in that tip up there it says you could also press Control and full stop. So if you're in the editor and you simply hit Control full stop, it'll also run that JavaScript program. This will save you time having to move your hand from the keyboard to the mouse back and forth. So just press Control and full stop to run whatever's in your text editor. So while you weren't looking, I've changed our computer program. Before we set off drawing our octagon, I've added this new command called set color with white inside the parentheses, and here I've set the color to green in parentheses, and you can see before it's drawing the top part of the roof, it's setting the color to white, and when it's going to draw the floor there, before it draws the floor, it's setting the color to green. If you're paying attention, you'll notice numbers don't have to be in these quotey symbols, whereas words like white and green have to be surrounded with a single or double quote. This will become clearer later on, but for now, if you're wanting to set color, remember to put the name of the color inside quotes, but if you're wanting to specify centimeters or degrees to turn, the number doesn't have to be inside quotes. So there we have it. It's actually pretty straightforward to tell this dinosaur what to do with a very simple computer program. Do you remember some of the other commands you might have available? If you can't remember what they might be, have a look back at the intermediate and the advanced commands, and they'll give you some ideas of some of the names you might want to type in for the command names. Try them out. You're not going to break anything, but definitely you want to try picking up the pen, changing color, going home, hiding the turtle, showing the turtle, going backwards, turning left. Try them all out yourself. Remember, you're not going to break anything. Now, if you've created a long program, don't worry, you can close your browser and Codersaurs will remember whatever you've typed into this text editor. So you can work on it this week. When you get bored of working, you can close the browser and come back tomorrow or next week, and your program will still be there waiting for you. If ever you want to explore further and get that sample program back, all you need to do is remember Control A will select everything in that text editor, hit delete, and then next time you restore your browser or move off the JavaScript controls and back onto it, the sample program will be there. And if you run that, remember that's going to draw that beautiful sample instruction. You can learn a whole lot of other commands that turtle can do. But we'll get to those commands in due course. Anyways, that's the final episode of our introductory series. Well done. You're now able to use the Codersaurs GUI all on your own. You know everything it can do. From the next episode, we're going to be learning computer science concepts. That's where the real fun's going to start. So until next time, This is Dr. J signing out. See you soon. Bye.